Hey everybody, happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, Gunpla, and gaming. I am Stephen Bayless, your host, aka Midnight Hatter, and joining me as always, the Blue Gamer, Gundam Explainer, Adam Blue. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing good. I'm hoping we're gonna be talking some Eternal today. Um,
For
oh
sure,
my god.
for sure.
Yeah, because I actually have been playing it more, and I saw that advertisement for the Blue Destiny stuff coming November
Yes,
11th.
Blue Destiny. Two of the featured units are going to be the BD1 and the BD2. So there's like Blue Destiny units coming out. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of Eternal stuff to talk. And personally, I'm very excited because last week we talked a lot of G Generation Eternal, but my voice was totally shot on account of being super sick.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
feel like I'm back in the saddle, so
Right.
hopefully I'm not gonna annoy you guys with my hacking and coughing and clearing my throat and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna be a fun little show tonight. Got some G Generation Eternal stuff to talk about, some updates around the store, and then I was hoping we could hop into Blender. We're gonna do a little bit of mecha design of our own, which should be kind of fun. And drop in the chat because we're gonna be designing a mech. I haven't really settled on a name for it yet. So if you guys are here live, you can help me name this mecha that is going to
Mm.
be it. Think of like your best grunt suit name idea. You're gonna get a little bit more once we fire up the software, you're gonna get to see what we're looking at and get an idea of like, okay, well, if it looks like this, maybe we're
Mm.
gonna go with a name that's a little bit more gruff. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
It'll be fun doing it live here. But yeah, you dropped a video this morning of it's been part of like a series, right? With these the Requiem for Vengeance.
Oh, the Mobile
What's
Suit
the
Ensemble.
line? The
Yeah, the
ensemble.
mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always mix them up with like the NX Edge
and then there's
SD
Converge.
figures,
Yeah,
but
there's
no, it's the Mobile Suit Ensemble figures, which
oh, yeah.
I love that scale. I love
I know.
that line of
Ah,
mobile suits.
I know. Yeah, it was funny because this was one of the many victims of the package of the whole Japanese shipping thing, and, I don't know if that happened to you. There's some things, people if you pre-ordered stuff that was to ship between, like, July and October or September? Yeah, October, it was probably delayed for one reason or another. I had a few packages, another one being this SH figure art, Char Aznavour.
Yay.
I cannot wait to open this.
Oh, that is so awesome.
I know, and another cool one was the, Federation Hyzak robot spirit.
Nice.
I know, so, um, this yeah, other than the Mobile Suit Ensemble, it's been fun getting a lot of things in, and then this also,
Heck yeah, man.
it's been a lot of stuff, that's
Well,
for sure.
yeah, I'm glad you got some goodies going on. I actually did a little bit more work off stream. When we were working last week, we were working on this guy, the Solari
Oh, yeah.
Requiem for Vengeance Saku. I've added a few more parts onto her. I think she's coming together pretty nicely. I love the way it looks with black instead of white parts on like those key areas, the chest and the feet.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see that on, the Mobile Suit Ensemble, like, it's almost like the white it's there's something about it where it just breaks it apart too much to where it
yeah.
looks busier than it needs to be. You're right with the black because it goes with the tubing, the vents,
Yeah, and I know what they were going for because obviously, like, everything about the Solari Zaku is supposed to be very wolf-like. So it's like you have that
yeah,
white patch of fur on the chest and like,
had to pause.
yeah. But in some ways it kind of looks goofy in mobile suit form.
Yeah, and it's funny how once everyone saw it green, people were like, "Whoa, that's a great looking Zaku
Yeah,
too."
fantastic.
Yeah,
And I mean, the way that the model kits are, they have so many panel lines, like they feel like real grades, the level
yep,
of detail that's been put into them. So
yeah, that's for sure. Which, it's interesting that that Requiem for Vengeance Zaku 2 has had a high grade. The Gundam Universe action figure, it has Mobile Suit Ensemble, but I think that's really it. There's no, like,
Yeah.
master grade, RE100 or
And even the Gundam Universe figure is actually kind of like a different version because it's like the
that's
post-battle
right,
version
because it
where
has
it's got
the
like the
red.
mesh over the
Yeah. Oh,
shoulder and
that
it's
too.
got like that football helmet visor protection.
Yeah, that is a really good point, and I didn't think about that with the, Mobile Suit Ensemble because they sometimes have sets that have, like, special parts that you can then add on, but they didn't for that.
Right. Yeah, man. Well, hopefully they come out with like a little, either an alternate version or some option parts to slap onto it.
Especially with a GM in the GUF
Oh,
that th
man,
that yeah.
total lack of GM representation when that is one of the coolest GMs.
I know, I
Just the
know.
way that the eye moves and
Yep.
so
I
sweet.
mean, I'm surprised there's not just a high grade to go with the line, and who knows,
Even if it were a P Bandai, like even as
yeah.
a P Bandai.
Yeah, like they did with the other, Zakus, and,
Right.
and I wonder, like, how well did Requiem for Vengeance do for visibility of Gundam? I would say that it's interesting that there was way more G-Quux memorabilia out than Requiem for Vengeance, so it's almost like you can't help but not be noticed if there's not enough things out there, and I was thinking about that, so yeah, last show because you weren't on, there was something I wanted to bring up to you. Where was I? I was at a store. No, I was out of town at a comic book shop in North Carolina.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
so many geek nerd things, tons of Godzilla stuff, but nothing Gundam at all. And I'm like, that's what's missing. Bandai is missing to make sure they have their Gundam stuff at those types of places. And then I was thinking, well, what are other Bandai things that would be at a comic book shop other than cards? So, I don't know if Bandai really has comic book, not that it has to be a comic book, but related stuff, unless it's an anime section.
Right.
But,
Well,
you
and
know
I saw a post trending on Twitter where there was a shop, I forget what it was called, it was like Hobby Stock or something like that,
mm,
but it was a hobby store that was filled with nothing but Funko Pops, and it was like, "Man,
yeah,
this is one of those places where it's like that could be a total mecca of anime and hobby, toys, games, model kits, all of those types of things. But instead, it's 100% Funko Pops because that's what people buy, I guess.
yeah, it's
And
crazy.
so it's disappointing and we've talked about this before because I remember, back in the 90s being an anime kid, my brothers and I, we would always want to go to like that random anime shop at the mall that had all the like kitschy stuff that you couldn't find anywhere else. But it feels like those places don't exist anymore. And more, it feels like, okay, well, I guess I'll just order it online. But I mean, ordering things online, you end up paying an arm and a leg, not just shipping, but, like, it feels like you're being scalped almost.
Yeah, you know what?
Um,
Very interesting you brought this up because there's all those little Japanese stores popping up around me, but they're for, like, blind box stuff. Except
yeah,
this one store in the mall that's, oh, I forget the name of it, but they had the SH Figure Arts Jackie Chan. They had, one of the not an SH Monster Arts, but they had a Godzilla. Like, they had a lot of, like, the things, that I wouldn't expect to see.
yeah.
So, I wonder if first is the proliferation of those Japanese shops that have all the little things, and then slowly now they're getting the bigger items, like the action figures. So maybe that could be happening.
I hope so, for sure. I have noticed that, like you said, it's like the blind box, the loot boxes. That was
Yeah.
one of the things that turned me off about going to New York Comic Con is that, like, the entire trade show floor was just nothing but loot boxes, and it was like, "What themed loot box do you wanna buy? Do you wanna buy the Rick and Morty box that, like, has a bunch of Rick and Morty stuff in it? Do you wanna buy the Firefly box that has a bunch of, like, Nathan Fillion merch in it?" And
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, well, you might get, like, a mug or a bottle opener." Just the most dumb junk that has things printed on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so, I don't know, man, it's just
I
disappointing.
I wonder if that bubble has burst already with those loot boxes because I remember always seeing them. I even tried a couple of them.
The Loot Crate?
Yeah, Loot Crate, yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the last one I ever did was USA Gundam Store, I think it was, that was doing just a gu and it was worth it. I think I did 3 months, and I really got cool stuff out of it. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that's one of those things that as the economy is evolving forward, that's like the first thing people stop doing. It's like for all the things you can have subscriptions for, the last thing is a loot box.
Yeah, I mean, you do not want something that you don't know what you're gonna be getting out of it. It feels like gambling. Whereas I think that people will pay for a subscription if they feel like they know what they're gonna be able to get out of it, which is one of the reasons that Amazon has done as well as they have, is that, when you're looking at streaming services that you want to invest in, at least with Amazon Prime, yeah, you're gonna get a few shows, you're gonna get a few movies, but, like, you also know that you're always gonna get free two-day shipping, and that's really what the guarantee is.
Yeah,
Whereas when you pay for Netflix, when you pay for Hulu, when you pay for Disney Plus, it's like, "Okay, I know that when I pay for Disney Plus, I have access to, like, Toy Story, but I also don't know if I'm gonna like the latest Star Wars show. I don't
yeah.
know if I'm gonna like the latest."
It's not like
uh
it's something you need to make use of.
Right,
It's very passive. Yeah, you brought up a
exactly.
good point with Amazon. That whole, thing with the shipping is almost like, "Well, I'm paying for that, and then I get videos."
Yeah, the shows and movies are almost like a bonus on top of the thing that you know you want, which is the free shipping.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So what I think Disney Plus should then do is a loot box. If you're getting Disney Plus every month, you do get some memorabilia that promotes movies or shows coming out, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I know that that has been a thing is, like, if you have Disney Plus, I don't know if you've logged in lately, but sometimes
No.
they'll tell you, like, the perks that you get as part of the Disney Store, where it's like,
Oh,
"Oh, you get exclusive access to products from the Disney Store that you otherwise wouldn't get."
so we did try that and it's nothing. Like, cause we had a Disney Store card and Disney Plus,
Ah,
and it was best for going on a trip to Disney World. Paying for it. When you use it, you do get cash back you can use at the Disney Store, but it's
okay.
and they had exclusive stuff, but I remember looking for at the Star Wars stuff and there was nothing, and I was like, "Eh." I mean,
No, because ultimately they don't wanna limit anything that they could make money off of from
it
somebody else.
it's like
Like,
Crunchyroll because
oh,
they have their
yeah,
anime, but then they have their store and it has a percentage off, and it's actually a good deal if you pay the high tier if you're buying that
right,
stuff.
if you're getting the physical.
So I like what you're putting out there because I'm understanding that the success you can't just have just streaming. That's why Netflix is introducing the video games as another thing that you can
Exactly.
do,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, and that's something that you and I had covered, like, months ago because on LinkedIn, I saw that Netflix was hiring
Oh, yeah.
Unreal developers.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that, like, nobody talked about, but, like, now it's, like, almost, oh, ubiquitous, like, you get on YouTube and they have games that you can play on YouTube, and there's games to play on Netflix, there's games to play like,
Yeah.
the games are everywhere now, which is kinda crazy.
It is.
Um, One thing I would definitely pay a premium for, and, shout out to JamCalX, the ability to look up. Which I think was in reference to the GM and, like, the
Yeah.
way that the, GM in
Yeah.
Requiem for
That's
Vengeance
good.
looks up.
That's
Um, but yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy.
yeah. It's good to see you.
Um, so let's talk a little bit about G Generation Eternal. Hopefully, we won't spend as much time on Eternal as we did, last week, which was, like, most of the show. There is obviously huge events going on right now. There's the Generation Tower East, which the previous version was like the Tower East was one of my favorite events that came out in G Generation Eternal because it's one of the challenging events where it's not just, hey, build the best squad and you get to win. There's a lot of like strategy that goes into beating certain stages. The stage that I'm stuck on right now is I think it's 16 or 17. It's the one where you have to beat Mark Gilder, who's like one of the SDG generation characters. He's in the
Oh,
Phoenix Gundam.
yeah.
But the way that this stage is laid out, all right, let me set the stage for you.
Okay.
You have your 2 teams at the bottom of the map. You have an
Mhm.
army of GM jugglers to the left and right of you. You have a wall of Haros stopping you from getting to Mark Gilder in the Phoenix Gundam. He has a defense unit, and in front of him, he has 3 mass production type Big Zams. You have
Wow.
3 turns to try and take him out.
What?
Get this, man. Defeating any of these units is actually fairly easy.
Okay.
Where it becomes a problem is that every single one of those GM jugglers has chance step +3, which means that every single one of them
Oh,
gets 3 hits per turn. So, the way to kind of combat this is somehow you have to wipe the map on the first turn,
yeah.
get all of your units past the Haros, and then on the next turn, get this, the GM jugglers respawn. So
Wow.
even if you wipe them all out, they're gonna be there on turn 2 to come after you, and they all get that +3, so there's no way to run from them, which means if you do not beat the Phoenix Gundam in 2 turns, you're done.
What are they
Yeah.
expecting the player to be able to do? Like, have a certain suit, have or is
It
it like a specific strategy you gotta figure out between suit specials?
There's definitely, like, a strategy where you need map attacks, so
Mhm.
obviously units that can do, like, one of my favorites is the Psycho Zaku because that has, like, a map attack that is like a funnel shape,
Oh, that's cool.
and that allows you to take out a lot of units at once. The Neo Zeong actually has a map attack that it's like the widest but straight line, and that allows you to take out, like, a ton of units all at once. Um,
I think I have the meteor unit.
the Meteor unit, yeah, both of them, the Freedom and the Justice both do a good job of doing that.
Oh,
Um
so there's 2 meteor units, it's one that has the freedom, one that has the justice?
Yeah, the Justice one does more damage, the Freedom has more debuffs, but both of them work great, and,
Yeah, that's one that that's on my main,
b
team, but I don't know which one it is, I'm gonna look
but
real
I'll tell
quick.
you what, the real secret are units that have map attacks that allow you to push through enemies. So there's 3 that I know of. There's the Dark Gundam, there's the Master Gundam, and there's the GPO-3. All 3 of those units have a map attack where they will dash forward 5 spaces and cause damage behind them, but what that allows you to do is you don't have to kill the Haros to get past them. You just dash through them, and they're still there, but you've gotten to the other side. So, there's a
Hmm,
lot of
ye
strategies I've seen that involve using Master Gundam and Dark Gundam. I've been using the GPO-3 because obviously, not a G Gundam guy myself.
yeah, and that makes me think, like, is it worth using a suit if it doesn't really have any interesting abilities that you can make use of? Because I see that I have this Mark II that's level 100, and it's SP converted, lim
And
um,
I think that the Mark yeah, that I mean, that's a
it's the AUG, but it doesn't seem to have anything
and
interesting.
it yeah, that unit doesn't have any, like, special abilities that make it unique, but by virtue of leveling it up and if you put the right pilot with it, like, I think there's only a few pilots that have, 2 defensive, like, moves. So, like, for instance, the ultra rare EO Fleming, he has 2 defense moves. So, like, any mobile suit you put him in, he can block twice. So it's like the AUG Mark II, because it's such a high defense unit, you can block a lot of attacks. If you put
Oh.
somebody like EO Fleming in it, you can block 2 attacks per turn and kinda stack
Oh.
that up. And EO Fleming has the ability to heal himself once. So it's like he can block 2 attacks, take some damage, heal himself, block 2 more attacks. There's
That's a
ways that you can kind of stack that ability.
Especially if you're someone that just like me, that just wants to use a Mark II a lot. That gives you a reason to be really making use of it a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Um,
check and see if I remember I did yeah, because the Thunderbolt, you can still do it because it's in the history.
yes,
Yeah.
Thunderbolt and Astray are now in the history missions, which they're slightly different than they were when they were story missions because instead of doing like the lottery version of things, they're treated like ordinary story missions where it's like you can play through them and skip through them every day 3 times and you
Ah,
have their own development trees. The Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the units that I've seen in a lot of tutorials is the, Astray Gold Frame Amatsu, which is only available in that Astray story mission. It
okay,
has a
because I
very unique map attack that gives it a strong advantage, and so if you don't have it, this is your chance to get it.
yeah, because I remember you told me about that last time, so um I finished that one. But
Heck yeah.
I don't have it yet because I have to upgrade some other suits.
And I definitely recommend people play the Iron-Blooded Orphans, um, like the Fierce Battle, where you can unlock the Hajiraboshi. It's from, like, one of the Iron-Blooded Orphans side stories, but the pilot of the Hajiraboshi has a double chance attack similar to, like, Machu or Char Aznable, like
Mhm.
the Char's counterattack version,
Yeah.
which that can be super beneficial because then you can kinda, like, move 3 times per turn. But yeah, right now, because of the celebration going on with season 2 of IBO being released in the game, you get a free Gundam Barbatos that if you complete all of these tasks, you can max that out.
Oh,
Um, it's a pretty decent unit. You
okay.
know, as a result of playing through the fierce battles, I've actually maxed out 2 Gundam Hajiraboshis, so I'm like,
Huh.
well, like,
Wow.
yeah, you can actually get away with quite a lot, in doing those fierce battles. On top of that, let's see what else there's going on here. Well, that's Marvel Rivals. Like you
Oh, yeah.
mentioned, Gundam side stories, you've got the BD unit. Oh, so it's actually BD3 and BD2,
Okay.
not BD1. But
Is
I am excited about this being a story mission.
okay, that's what I was gonna ask. It's a story mission, so that means it's pretty much that's how we're unlocking the suits. They're pretty much free. We don't have to roll for
Correct.
them.
You don't have to, yeah, there's no chance involved. You just if you play through the story missions, you do all of the things, you can get Nimbus, you get, what's his name? Yukijima.
Oh, yeah.
You unlock these pilots and these mobile suits, and you can just max them out by just playing that story mission.
I'm excited, especially that will be one where I'll sit there and pay attention to the story because there's not many ways they've told Blue Destiny, you know?
Yeah, unless you're gonna use, Kyle here, Simply New Type in the chat. I thought it was
Oh,
interesting that he
yeah.
released his coverage of Blue Destiny almost timed perfectly with the
Right.
Blue Destiny, release in Gundam Eternal. This is that
Oh,
Gundam Hajiraboshi I was talking about.
hmm.
Um, this I mean, you unlock it and you can max it out for free just by playing through the Fierce Battle, and then, of course, the pilot that goes with it is,
Okay.
Wistario. Um, he has that double chance attack, which is awesome because he gets 3 attacks per turn essentially, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know that person. I haven't finished IBO. I tried watching episode 11 the other day. It was pretty cool. And then I forgot to watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Um, and that's more from I don't know if it's Erder Hunt, I don't know as much about IBO, obviously, but it's Wistario and the Gundam Hajiraboshi are not in the
Oh,
mainline,
okay.
IBO story. They are, side stories. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff that they're giving away for free as part of this. Now, of course, this is what I'm trying to get my hands on with the Generation Tower East is a new ultra rare character, Mjorne Rembrandt. She's an attack type character. I think that she is more impressive than the reward for the last Generation Tower East, which was Lacus Klein. Um, so Lacus had the ability to increase everybody's um the morale, like the
Oh, yeah.
tension. She would max them all out. Mjorne has a similar ability that everyone within range of her gets an attack boost, which man, I am trying to get my hands on that. But like I said, Generation Tower East is one of the more challenging um s- play modes
Yeah.
in Gundam G Generation Eternal. So in order to get her, you have to clear level 19. I am only at level 17. I'll let you know how we do.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh, look at this. Again, you guys put the character so high behind boring, unfun challenges. Put them lower, people will play regardless for the gems. So putting Mjorne at 10 wouldn't change anything. Uh, I
I guess
disagree.
that person just wants to get it easily.
I think that they just want it more easily.
Yeah.
And
That's
and I get that. Like if I could unlock her more easily, I would be happy, but at the same
yeah.
time, I kind of like that it's a challenge because it makes me
Yeah.
feel like I earned it.
Exactly. It's something to play. It really gets into the gameplay at that point.
Exactly. There's a bunch of new featured units, so obviously there's a new Barbatos. Dude, I got 2 I got 2 10 pulls because of all the free diamonds that they're giving away as part of you know, the new stages, as part of, like, everything that they're doing with the anniversary and everything. The first pull, I got the ultra rare Barbatos, and I got 3 new ZL2s. The second
Whoa.
one the second one, I got 2 more Barbatos and 1 more new ZL2.
So
So
you could match them.
I could max them out, but I was also like, "I hate IBO."
Oh,
Like,
out of all the things. Yep.
out of all the things, I get ultra rare Barbatos. Like, just
Yeah, so
ugh.
I'm wondering when the Blue Destiny thing launches, if there's gonna be something related to that in the shop, because I have now 18,000 diamonds, and I'm excited to
Oh, man,
use them.
yeah. Well, and so this is one other one is, like, there's an ultra rare Soletta Mercury because there's a new version of the Gundam Aerial
Oh,
rebuild. This
okay.
looks sick.
That is
Now
a pretty
the
cool
Gundam
one.
Aerial rebuild that's already in the game is super powerful, so this one's kind of like, um, it's a defender unit, it's not like an attacker the way that the other one is, so it's definitely built more around blocking, but, like, the
Hmm,
Gundam Aerial rebuild is one of those overpowered suits.
okay. Interesting.
Um, I was disappointed because, like, for instance, oh, so here's the new Mikazuki as part of that new Barbatos. I was disappointed because the ultra rare defender units are really not that impressive. Like if you're gonna go for one of the ultra rare, like the EX units, the ones that you want are either the attackers or the supporters. And the supporters is really only for the pilots. I'm gonna be honest with you because one of the best combos that I have is um Asuna Elmerit, the pilot of Lasigna. She in the Red
Mm,
Zeta
yeah.
is one of the best combos because the Red Zeta has all of the punch of an ultra rare unit. It's a better unit than the Lasigna, but Asuna El Merit has the ability to max out her tension in one turn, like as part of her thing, and then she also has 2 support attacks. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, I mean, she has been one of my best pilots since
I need to
starting the
play
game.
around. Yeah, I need to play around with pilots more. I'm not really
But
paying
but
attention.
yeah, this Barbados Lupus, like, I have 3 of them that, like, I don't want.
Uh,
Um, oh, well. But, yeah, so there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in, Gundam G Generation Eternal. They just wrapped up season 2 of Stardust Memory,
yeah.
so those were pretty awesome. You coulda I think the panel missions are still available if you wanted to unlock Hero Yui and the Endless Waltz version of the Wing Gundam.
Oh, I haven't done all of that yet, but I don't know. Will I do that?
So, but I'm hoping that the presence of the Miorne special unit and the, Gundam aerial rebuild mean that they're going to be releasing Witch from Mercury Part 2 because they don't have all the development units ready for that yet,
Mm,
and it would be pretty cool to have a super
fair.
secret rare Gundam Ferract,
Yeah,
just saying.
that's cool. Ending
So
save.
yeah.
Well, cool. I'm excited about this. The Blue Destiny stuff really pulls me back in.
Yeah, I love that they are kind of mixing it up and that they're bringing in, some like, there's a little bit of UC stuff, there's a little bit of, AU stuff.
Right.
They are
Oh,
mixing up the things to kind of keep you interested, and like you said, those history battles give you the ability to go back and play some of the story missions that you might have missed before,
yep.
and I highly recommend that people go in and, at the very least, play through all of Thunderbolt and max out the Psycho Zaku.
Okay.
The Psycho Zaku is one of the best, like, area clearing units in the game that you can get for free,
Wow.
because you don't have to obviously roll for it or anything. If you develop that thing to the max, and as a bonus, you get the Daryl Lorenz pilot, Daryl Lorenz actually gives it an extra movement bonus because of his character ability. So it's like he
Mm.
only the Psycho Zaku only moves 4 spaces, but if you equip Daryl Lorenz, he moves 5 spaces.
I see. I love this synergy with the. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to beat it. I've only beaten the first level on Thunderbolt. So
Yeah, definitely get on that.
yeah, cool.
But yeah, so going into the other topics of tonight, so I was really disappointed to find out that I got my first order for for the resource deck that I had designed for the
Oh,
Gundam card game, and the printer that I had been working with decided they emailed me and said, "Hey, um, this character on this card is Amuro Ray from Gundam," and I was like, "Well, yeah, no shit." Um, but
uh,
it's my art. Like, it's fan art. I drew this in Photoshop. Well, I traced it, but
yeah.
the point is, it's original artwork of an IP protected character, and the long and short of it is that they refused to print the product for me, which
Mm,
means, until I can kinda get my own print setup going, I'm not gonna be able to supply those, which makes me a little disappointed, a little sad, but it also reminded me that this is why I started doing kind of like my own IP work and my own video game work in the first place, is that I knew that I would never be able to sell products or do anything meaningful with Gundam as a
yeah.
franchise because it's not mine. I don't have the privilege of working on it the way that other people do. And so it kind of reinvigorated me on the projects that you and I had been working on in the past, one of which being these mag mechs that I had talked about.
Yeah.
If you guys are long-time viewers of the show, you know that I've mentioned mag mechs and I've mentioned the alternative power systems, the fission reactions
Yeah.
generated by Ouroboros. Well, one of the things that I had done was I took some of my sketch work and I put it into AI to see what it would come up with. And what I want to show you guys is pretty impressive because, AI tools have gotten so far in terms of conceptualizing and developing ideas into a phase where like they're almost product ready, but they're still not quite there yet. And I'm going to show you what I mean here in just a second. Let's hop into Blender. I'm going to show you an AI generated 3D model based on one of my sketches for these mechs that I'm designing. Heavily influenced by Gundam, of course. You guys know what the y'all know what time it is here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's see if this will show up. Yep, here we go. So this is what I need your guys' help on. Those of you in the chat, you guys take a look at this mech and you tell me what it should be called.
Hmm.
Obviously, you can probably see some Gundam influences in here. It is a grunt suit. It is one of the villain suits, if you will,
Mm.
or frames in my particular case. So there's a lot to like about this model and a lot to dislike. Obviously, it's textured. You can see that it's got like this hand painted texture to it. It's got these little lines where you can see shadows and depth and all of this stuff. This is a decent 3D model on the surface.
I think
But
so.
here's where we get into some issues. Let's take away the textures. Let's look at it in just object mode. So in object mode, you can see that the topology of this model is absolute trash.
Yeah.
Um, it's not symmetrical for one. You see that there's like it kind of looks muddy. Like without the texture, you really don't see a lot of definition
Yeah, the shapes
in
don't really make any sense.
exactly. It's kind of like a mass of just,
Yeah.
weirdness. Um, and if you even look in edit mode, you can see that it's almost more of an organic shape than a mechanoid one.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting.
there's a lot lacking here, right? But what I will say, and this is what I would use AI 3D models for, is, and I've talked about this, is like in order to do 3D models, typically you need 3 images. You need a front, a back, and a side image so that you can kind of trace them in 3D, and those are your turnarounds where it's like, "Here's my reference images to work with." What's really cool about this is now instead of just having reference images, I have a total reference model that allows me a 3D view where no matter what angle I'm looking at, as I'm modeling the final piece, I can actually get it to look exactly the way I want it to.
Yeah.
So let's pop back into the texture view mode and I'm gonna just bring up some of the model shapes that I've put in here. So let me hide that. So here is what the final model would actually be. And obviously, if we were to select all of this and look at the topology of that, look how much cleaner these models are.
Yep.
There's not all of these like random squares and things that don't make sense. This is very much a clean model and we can get it to look exactly the way we want. So, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to be using this as our reference. So, like, let's say we wanted to add one of the legs in here. So, we're going to add just a standard cube mesh to start. We hop into edit mode and oh, okay, there it goes. Let's line it up with the leg of the mobile suit here or frame, whatever you want to call it. Let's scale it up here. We can probably hop into like there we go, the X-ray view so that we can see what we're doing. Let's scale it on the Z axis because we're basically just creating the thigh here, right? Um, So it looks like the way that this is designed, what we're gonna wanna do is bevel this edge by a little bit. I'm thinking like, not point 0.5. Point 0.5 is not quite enough. What if we do it by like 5? But then the back side, we want this one to be beveled a little bit more, so like 7.5. So
Yeah.
that's starting to look about right. So then let's select all. We're gonna scale on the x-axis. We're gonna scale it down just a little bit. Unfortunately, with our reference image, the feet are kind of turned outwards. So, like,
Yeah.
we should rotate it on the z-axis by like, and we want to be very deliberate about this because we want to be able to undo it if we need to, and we want to be able to replicate it for when we create other parts of the legs and things like that. So if we set it to like say 10 degrees and we rotate on the y-axis, say like negative negative 10, or maybe, yeah, I think negative 10 looks good, right? It's kind of lines up with it. Let's turn off X-ray view here. I think that that's pretty spot on,
Yeah,
right?
that was
Like,
pretty quick.
and that's what I'm talking about, is just, like, having the ability to basically hop into edit mode and do this in this, like, quick and
Yeah.
dirty fashion is really awesome. Um, Now because we've done some movement here, let's go to the local, maybe normal. What I'm looking for is I wanna try and see if we can scale some of these pieces in and out because, like, this probably needs to come forward a little bit. It's a little bit thicker of a part. And then if we select some of the edges here, one of the things that I've been doing is beveling the edges a little bit to give them a little bit more like a,
Kind of believability of
yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
know
want
what the right
everything to have these, like, really hard edges
yeah,
unless.
to make it look like a toy, you know?
Right, exactly. So if we bevel these in by, like, maybe 2? No, that's too much. Maybe, like, point 0.5. There we go. So it's got, like, kind of a little bit of an angle to it. So we've got that going on. We come in here, let's add modifier. Generate a mirror. Boom. There's our 2 legs. We're starting to come together here.
Hey, Lucas Garrett in the chat was saying, Centurion.
Oh, yeah.
Centurion, or
So
however
I
you
would
pronounce it.
bring down the mohawk part of the helmet a bit. It's too pronounced. I would designate it a Centurion or Raider unit, depending on its function in your mecha universe. Yeah, I dig that,
Yeah.
100%. One of the first things that I wanna do is, like, the mohawk part is cool. I don't think that the AI did a good job of, I think it should be deeper. I think it should come back a little further, like,
Yeah.
towards the backside of the head, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I could
Instead of just
see
being, like, one little point.
yeah.
But it does give me very much, like, Leo/Zaku slash
Oh, yeah.
Zaku vibes, right?
Yeah.
And, like, one of the things that the AI didn't put, like, a back skirt on it, so that kind of looks goofy. We definitely need to add a back skirt.
Yeah.
Um, but I do like, the proportions of it. It did a good job at capturing a lot of, like, the essence of the design.
Yeah, I think so. And in what program did this, or was it in Blender?
So this is a program called Tripo,
Okay.
or Tripo. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. But, yeah, they have the ability for you to upload an image, and they'll create a 3D model out of it. They actually create 4 samples for you to choose from, and then from there, you can actually rig it, you can texture it, you can do a lot of things to it. But at the end of the day, AI 3D modeling is still just not quite
Yeah,
there, and especially when it's something like Mecha like this,
yeah.
it doesn't quite do a good enough job of, creating, like,
If
hard surfaces.
if it was like, more realistic items, does it do a better job of that because it can almost fill it in?
Yeah, like, I think, organic items, it does really good because
Okay.
it kind of, like people, it does a
Yeah.
really good job of generating 3D models of people, and then, like, cartoon characters, it does a really good job of too.
Oh, I see.
Um, so let's see here. Oh, hey, thanks, Lucas, for the shout out. It is a great grunt unit. I agree. I think it's kind of straightforward. And then JamCalX says, "What's this unit's standard loadout?" Is believe it or not, typically a shotgun.
Oh, I
Um,
like that.
they are definitely like a riot control, crowd control, um, unit. Uh, so I guess to give you guys a little brief on the story that is being told here, there are 5 unique factions. There is like the Earth Federated Government, which they discovered in the asteroid belt the fuel source and the isotope required for this fission energy that allows them to power their suits. And then, of course, there are two factions out in the asteroid belt, colonists and a monarchy that are um, they're fighting for independence against the government that wants to basically exploit them for the resources that they're mining out there in the asteroid belt. um, then, of course, there is a criminal syndicate that deals in basically smuggling things across enemy lines uh, between the two sides of the war that's going on. And then there is a corporate uh, conglomerate called Stratogen that represents all of the military technology that is being basically shared between all 5 factions in this particular case. The story goes something a little bit like this, is that in order to consolidate power, the monarchy is looking to install a new regent in place, but the thing that's standing in their way is, of course, the actual heirs to said monarchy. And so the criminal syndicate attempts to capture them, and they end up kind of on the run from both the criminal element and the and their own kingdom that are trying to bring them back so that they can execute them and have
Mm,
their own government in place.
yeah.
And then, of course, the federated government wants to bring those heirs in because they think that, like, hey, if we can protect them, then they're the ones that have the legitimate claim to the government in space. Unfortunately, nobody can find them. And the
Ah,
result of that is that the main character of this story is a young boy or girl, because you're going to be able to obviously choose the gender
oh,
of your character, and their younger sibling is kidnapped by the criminal syndicate because the criminal syndicate is like, we're just going to round up all of the kids in this area because we assume that they're the heir. We don't know what they look
mm,
like. We don't know who they are. They might be in disguise. And so the main character's goal is to recover their kidnapped sibling, who ends up working alongside the heirs that are in captivity with them. So it's like kind of like there's a lot of coincidental things going on.
like the family drama or the eh, how it bleeds into, like, rulers and all that. Yeah, I kinda like that stuff. So, yeah, you've really got this thought out then.
I have been planning this for quite a long time, and I think that this is one of those times where you and I have talked about this, where like AI tools really do they democratize access to creative, endeavors, where it's like, I don't think, and this is negative 15 degrees, I know that because I did the previous arm. Um, I don't think that I would have the modeling chops to do this 100% on my own, but I know enough tricks now, having worked on so many games myself and having, like, explored what other tools people have used for 3D modeling, where it's like, now that I have the ability to take an idea, feed it through AI in order to get, like, a more solidified concept.
Yeah.
Now I have the ability to model as if this were, like, you know,
It's like the draft you had created, you're able to really leverage that to get to the next step and not, like, be held back by not knowing yeah, this is a really good example of that. I have not thought of use in that way.
yeah, and, what's crazy is I had given these same drawings to a 3D modeler and a 3D artist, and I was like,
Oh,
"Hey," you know, and it was just 2 of the designs that I had done. I was like, "Hey, can you, show me what you can do with these, and if they turn out good, like, maybe we can work together and do this." And I paid them, and they came up with some designs, and I was like, "This is not that good."
wow.
Um, and, that's it's no fault of theirs, like, that's just, you know, sometimes sometimes the vision isn't there for whatever
Right.
reason, like, and so
No, that makes
all that
sense.
is to say is that, like, yeah, could I have hired somebody to do this? Yes, and I tried.
Mhm.
However, I think that, this is much closer to the result that I wanted than what I got when I paid for it.
Yeah,
Does
and
that
you
make
have an
sense?
eye for that, whereas there's sometimes for people have an idea for something, but they don't necessarily, excuse me, have an eye for what is the detail that I'm putting into this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, so I think a lot of times the people will get that business because the person's not necessarily and so you're yeah, the type where it's like, "Well, I know what I want out of this, and that wasn't it." You know?
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
that makes sense. I feel that a lot too. It's why, there's sometimes I've reached out to people to have stuff commissioned, and then I'm trying to think, and it's like, but it wouldn't be exactly what I'm thinking, and it's
Right, and nothing's ever gonna be exact because, like, you and
right.
we both use AI pretty regularly for, our creative works and things like that,
Yeah.
and it's never exactly what you want, but one of the things that I think is really impressive about what AI can do is iterate with you,
Yep.
and it doesn't take it personally, like,
Exactly.
dude, I'm a graphic designer, and when I used to get my design briefs and I would come up with, like, 5 or 6 packaging designs, and they would get torn to shreds by my boss, I'm like,
Yeah.
Why am I even doing this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
But
It's a good point. Yeah, it's helped with so much. I mean, even just if you're just having fun, what's funny is it reminds me of sort of what people get out of like tabletop or role playing, for
yeah,
example, because it's almost like you can play with the chat GPT if you wanted to and kind of get something out of that, whether that's a story or that's just a fun conversation or maybe exploring some topics or ideas. And then that can spark an inspiration for something. Yeah.
and I do feel like a lot of people would probably enjoy playing tabletop games with a large language model more than they would enjoy playing with actual people because, like, you know, people can be disappointing. It's
Yeah.
like, uh, yeah.
And by the way, I know we're getting near the end. I totally forgot I have to go pick up my daughter. She gets off at 9. So
Oh, shoot,
not that
yeah.
we have to cut it short, but we could still end it and then Just so you know, when we leave after the show to chat and I have to go really fast, you're like, "Why did Adam have to leave?"
I do wonder about that sometimes. I'm like, "Wait, does he not like me anymore? Did I say something cancelable?" Um, but no, we can obviously cut this a little bit shorter. The only thing that I would wanna show off before we close is, of course, the ability to, and this is one of the other things that I think is beneficial about this exercise, is the ability to create our own materials that are distinct to the model. So, like,
Mm.
obviously, the textures looked kinda muddy because they were based on a drawing, but, like, if we were to go into Blender, we can create unique textures that are clean, that, if we hit use nodes here, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna make this that desaturated olive green. Let's bring the darkness down a little bit. Does that
Oh,
look pretty close to what we have? Yeah.
yeah.
So, we have the ability to do that, and then, of course, once you have that in place, you can come in here and apply that material to all of your model, and you recycle that. So, it's just things that you're able to do that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Or you wouldn't have been motivated or inspired, I should say, to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that this final model is gonna come out looking pretty slick. I can't wait to put
Yeah.
together the gameplay to show you guys. I'm really excited to share more of this with you.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and man, I am so excited that Lucas and Jamcalex are excited about it too, because I see that you guys are asking questions about, like, the doppelgangers and
Ah,
the factions. We're gonna get into it for sure as the weeks go on, because we're gonna be focusing a lot more on this than we have been
oh, cool. I
in
like this.
previous.
I really like this idea, exploring these stories in this
Yeah,
world.
man, absolutely.
Yeah.
We might even start doing a couple streams per week on this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah,
Hmm.
thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. And yeah, thank you for putting up with my G Generation Eternal talks, Adam.
Oh, no. Hey, it's getting me back in. I've that's what I've been saying. I've been playing it, and I can't wait for Blue Destiny, so that's how I get
Oh
my
man.
fill during the
Yeah,
show.
exactly. Which is one of the things that they intended for you to do. Um well, you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
See y'all.